Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. What's this, episode four?
Episode
Three?
4.
Four, dang. All right. Well, we got a lot in hand for today's episode, out of weirdly enough, because it's actually the middle of summer. It's June 16th, and we got a lot on the plate already, especially revolving football, which we're going to get into in just a minute here, with mini camp, a bunch of other NFL news, Twins, obviously. Gophers, College World Series. I know a lot of people are waiting on that. Well, of course, U.S. Open on it being there. Duh. Then, little local legend at the end, which we'll get to that later. So,
Can't
well,
wait to find out who you select.
well, it's a good one for you. Should we hop on into NFL minicamp?
Might as well. It's America's pastime now.
Let's do it. So, what are your big, I guess, impressions? And minicamp's tough to tell anything, obviously, because it's a lot of non-pads and not everybody shows up and stuff like that. But I mean, the cool thing for the Vikings is they have, I read somewhere they have almost every player under contract at the mini camp right now.
It's all you can ask for at minicamp. You want everybody to be there. You want to hear only good news out of minicamp, and that's all I've heard about JJ McCarthy during this minicamp.
hmm Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about JJ during this mini camp. It seems like the team was really bought into him as the guy. I mean, you kind of had to get the feeling after not re-signing Sam Darnold that the team was going all in on him. And from the way it sounds, I mean, I'm a big,
Harrison Phillips,
yeah, Harrison Phillips. I'm a big Harrison Phillips guy. And the way it sounds is the whole team is defense really loves him. I mean, Phillips really loves him. And so, I mean, the whole team is really built coming around JJ. And I mean, I'm excited. I mean, obviously, I'm excited about, our young quarterback, but another person here that's healthy, Rondale Moore, the Boilermaker, tore his ACL last minicamp, I think it was, or was it fall camp? I can't remember. But they're saying he was gonna make the 52-man roster. And I remember him in college. He was a dude. And I think adding he might be someone that could come in and make a difference with how explosive he is out wide for the Vikings. He's probably a slot guy, but with Jordan Addison out those few games, he could be someone to watch here if he can stay healthy here.
for sure. It's, it's a good acquisition to have. He's a very skilled guy. Not necessarily has pretty good production in the NFL, but he was a problem at Purdue, and he would cause a lot of offenses fits while at Purdue, just with how skilled he was at the in the Big Ten, especially in the Big Ten West at the time.
Mhm.
He caused a lot of problems for teams, and Purdue had a good strength, few good wide receivers. He was probably the best among them. And it will be interesting to see how well he can fit into that offense. Obviously, JJ Justin Jefferson is going to get his catches. We got to make that distinction now.
Mhm.
Jordan Addison, when he comes back, when he's healthy, he's going to get his targets. Hawkinson, he's still part of this offense, and he's going to take probably a good chunk too of that offense. But Rondale Moore, I feel like has a different skill set than all of those guys, where he'll slot in nicely into that offense to be an even one more target for
Yeah,
McCarthy.
man, we're gonna have to start calling Jefferson and JJ different things. I don't know, we call him Jefferson Jettas. I don't know. It's always been JJ to me. So,
Yeah, I think he says he's Jettas in that locker room. So from here on out, he'll be Jay Jettas for the rest of us, and then he can just be JJ McCarthy and Jay Jettas. I don't want to play the drinking game on the JJ to JJ connections from Paul Allen this year. I don't think I'd make it through the season.
well, you kind of mentioned TJ Hawkinson there about, he's gonna get his targets. Another tight end the Vikings re-signed here, Josh Oliver. He really came on last year, especially with Hawkinson out, and he really proved himself. And I thought that was a big. Uh, this is probably one of the more underrated free agent signings or extensions, but this could be nice.
For sure, he's not necessarily your prototypical wide receiver one as a tight end, not in the Kelsey mold where he's going to be, but he is a run blocker and he's an elite run blocker at the tight end position. And that's where he makes his money. He did come onto the field. He had about 500 yards receiving, caught about 50 passes this year, and he played about half the snaps for the team. And he was a coach's dream to have at that tight end position. You never have to worry about him doing the wrong thing. He'll always do whatever you need him to do. And he didn't, they didn't break the bank for him. And they got him a nice little extension for him, 3 years, 23 up to 27.5 million. I feel like is pretty good market value for him, and he's gonna be in the prime of his career for those 3 years. He's only 27 years old, so you're getting him for his prime at a relatively cheap rate. I think that puts him in like 20th highest paid tight ends, right around that range. So it's not like we're putting a lot of money into that tight end position, but you don't break the bank for Josh Oliver either.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, the more and more we kind of talk about his extension, the more and more I'm a fan of it here. As, like you said, he was a coach's dream last year. I mean, tight ends that can block in the National Football League, they're going to stick around a while. I mean, those guys are, I mean, essentially six offensive linemen. And I mean, when you decide to go heavy and bring in an extra offensive lineman in there, you can have a guy like Josh Oliver uh, blocking with that. So you essentially have seven offensive linemen on the field in goal line situations. And he also, I mean, like you said, he had 50 plus receptions last year. So he's going to keep teams on his toes and or on their toes. And I'm really liking this extension here. Man, JJ's got JJ McCarthy has plenty of weapons right now. He really is being put into a good situation, and credit the Vikings player personnel department for making that happen. I mean, JJ McCarthy cannot be in a better situation right now, I feel, especially with a guy like Aaron Jones getting re-signed this offseason, a veteran back that can help JJ at the line of scrimmage, and he last I checked, he can still run the ball pretty well. So,
For sure, that's all you can ask for if you're a first year starter in the quarterback. He got his redshirt year, not really by his choice, but he got the redshirt year, got to see it behind Sam Darnold, the veteran quarterback who had really good results and could show him the process on how to get those results, how to be an NFL quarterback. Probably one of, if not the best tackle tandem in the NFL with
hmm
Darisaw and O'Neal. I'd be hard pressed to find too many others better than those two. An offensive minded head coach and Kevin O'Connell, the QB whisperer, and a pretty good interior too, offensive line. Some of the best weapons in the NFL. I don't know if you could ask for a better situation if you are a first round pick.
overall, great time to be a Vikings fan right now. So talking about fans, if I were a Bengals fan right now, I don't know what to think. I mean, I'm not a Bengals fan, but I mean, you catch us up a little bit on what's all happening down in Cincinnati right now, because it's just mayhem right now with everything going on there.
We talked about it earlier. Minicamp. What's the biggest thing? You want participation. You want your guys to be there, especially if there are veteran leaders of that team, like Trey Hendrickson is for that Bengals team. Is holding out, is on the last year of his contract for the Bengals, and I think they just restarted contract negotiations with him today. So there's been a long period where they weren't negotiating with him. Plus, he's the leading 17 and a half sacks the last 2 years. Last year leads the NFL in sacks. You are barely going into contract negotiations with him. Plus, you've paid all of these other guys around him. And it's just a bad look, in my opinion, to not offer a veteran leader for that team because he's been there for now 4 years. That wasn't was originally a Saint, signed with the Bengals, been there for 4 years. Has about 60 sacks with the Bengals, and he's just been a producer. And I think you'd want him around just to show the faith that you will keep him around and want to pay him. But you know what? I understand if you can't afford him, so be it. At least draft your first round pick, use it on a defensive lineman, and draft the next Trey Hendrickson. Except you can't get him to camp either because you're trying to screw him over with a contract clause, and he's not going to be the guinea pig for that contract.
Mm,
So they drafted out of Texas A&M Shamir Stewart to be a D lineman. Wasn't a super productive guy in college. Had decent stats, but it's not like he eye-popping stats. So
mm.
if he's a raw prospect and he was top prospect for that reason, not so you want to get him into minicamp, want to get him reps, but now you're going to put stuff in his contract. You're going to void years if he gets hurt, and that's just not normal. He doesn't want to be the guinea pig. He's expressed it. I don't know if you can blame him for that. And it's just there's a reason they call them the Bungles, and this is a very Bungles type situation out of them.
Looking back, I mean, it's crazy to think, what was it, 2, 3 years ago? The Bengals were in the freaking Super Bowl. And I mean, everybody kind of thought, man, they drafted Jamar Chase there. They have him and Joe Burrow. I mean, I really thought they were
Higgins,
going to be, I mean, I really thought them, the Bills, and uh, the Chiefs there were going to, that was going to be, the three, I guess the three horsemen of the National Football League, just because, and all in the same conference. I mean, that, I was thinking the AFC might be legit the next few years, but I mean, Bills and Chiefs are obviously still right there. I mean, the Bengals are still a great team. It's just it doesn't really seem like they're doing their fan base any favor with all this. They're not certainly not doing their players any favors with creating separation in the locker room, and it's just tough to see.
you just put so much money into Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Now you break off T. Higgins for a big contract, and some guys are going to get left out of the pie. And if it's time to move on from Trey Hendrickson, but if you could have allocated some of that money from T. Higgins, he's a great player, but it's hard to pay a wide receiver one and a quarterback one and a wide receiver two and a top flight defensive end.
Mhm.
And I think in my opinion, they did the priorities wrong, breaking off T. Higgins to that massive contract. And you could have left it more for that veteran leader, Trey Hendrickson. Because it's not like you're going to give him a long term contract. It's probably going to be 3, maybe 4 years till he gets to his mid 30s. Probably 30-ish million a year, maybe 35 at the high end. And I think you could have offered him that, but now you're in a tough situation where you can't pay everybody. And you alienated one of the defensive leaders to give even more money to that offense, to a guy who I don't think would be that much of a vocal leader for that team.
I mean, you kind of said it all there. That's why, what'd you call them? The bungalows or,
The Bungles.
yeah, the bungles. I mean, you
It's
said that's why they call them that. I mean,
yeah,
you said it all. You hit it on the nuts there.
I tried. I mean, it's the Bungles. I mean, when you're in the same state as the Browns and you're in that same level of who can be a worst NFL franchise,
Oh,
you have
all
problems.
right. That's a bit extreme. The Browns got a lot to fix, okay?
But
But
like, am I wrong to like they're in the conversation of that?
I mean, with the crap that's went on this offseason, I ha unfortunately kind of have to agree there. I mean, historically, I mean, the last 2 years, I would have said you're a nut show, you're a nut job. But I mean, state of Ohio right now in professional football, what is going on? Y'all
Yeah,
gotta fix it. I mean, I think there's a reason the Buckeyes have a better fan base than unfortunately both your pro teams.
yeah, because they actually win. And they hire elite staff around the guys and treat their players with respect.